Welcome to Culture Exchange. I'm joined this evening by somebody who brands himself as an entirely new style of poet. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Nigel Dirge.
Well, if I could just bring you up on one thing, I'm actually a soulsmith.
Oh, right, it's just that my research has told me you were a poet.
Well, you see, it's a bit like being a poet. But whereas you see a poet will think of some words and then they'll write them down and then perhaps at some stage they'll read them out again, well, I think you'll find being a soulsmith is so much more. It never quite, poets never quite reach the next evolution in the art form.
All right, so what does a soulsmith do then?
Well, a soulsmith is one who will reach deep into the deepest part of his heart and bring forth a nugget of purest truth, and will then meld that with the most vibrant aspects of his psyche and bring forth a single, undiluted, raw, primal expression of purest art.
So what does a soulsmith actually do?
Well, what he, in physical terms, what he will do is think of some words and then write them down, and then certainly there's an element of performing them later, but it's very different from being a poet. I think you'll find the distinction is so much more than that.
Right, so, different type of poet then.
Well, I suppose if that's the only way that your mind can conceive of it, then that will have to do for now, but I believe our audience can appreciate the subtle differences.
Right, now I noticed that when you talk about poets, you use the word they, but when you talk about soulsmiths, you use the word he. Is that intentional?
Well, yes, everything's intentional. But you see, you may think it's sexist, but the truth of the matter is that soulsmiths are overwhelmingly male.
Overwhelmingly male?
Exclusively male.
It's just you at the moment, isn't it?
Well, yes. But you see, that is the fault of the establishment, who have refused to let my movement flourish. And they fear, they can't handle my raw, undiluted truth, and they use words like charlatan and nuisance and stay away from my students, you weirdo.
And how do you respond to that criticism?
Well, I just rise above it. But I do sometimes feel that I'm saddened by all those who suffer because they do not have access to my tutelage and my art. I mean, it's not so much that they suffer, I mean, they're just people. But what gets to me is that the art suffers, because art is something that is rare and beautiful and pure.
Are you all right?
I'll be fine.
Why don't you read us one of your poems?
Well, for my first soul shape, or poem if you prefer, I've prepared a biting political satire, because obviously art must engage with the world, otherwise it's merely something that is pointless and pretentious.
And you wouldn't want to come over as pointless and pretentious.
Exactly! When the red and the blue combine in the middle of the page, and all that you are left with is a smear of brown, is it any wonder that the artist feels the need to change his brushes?
And people...
Boom! Take that, the man.
And people have called you pointless and pretentious. Just imagine.
Well, you see, exactly, but they don't have the same kind of understanding that you and I do.
I think we have time for one more poem.
Soul shape.
As I said, poem.
An ode to the salami that dare not speak its name. As we move